Hey guys, got another video today, and today I'm just going to talk about how to get big kill streaks in Battlefield 5, or actually, any Battlefield game, really. Now, I've mentioned this in a previous video on the channel quite recently. This video is just elaborating further, going into more detail, particularly survivability and, your rotation, how to rotate. So I think we're just going to go over what was mentioned in the previous video, because I think it will help with this video. And then we'll get straight into it. So, on that previous video, I did mention, taking gunfights sort of 1v1, 1v2, whilst rotating to capping flags, trying to think about what gunfights are typically going to happen, reading the game. I would say a lot of it is sort of experience also, the more you play of a certain map, you sort of figure out where people generally tend to peek, tend to rotate through, and, what sort of weapons. A lot of it is experience to an extent. But yeah, the more you play, especially your favourite maps, you'll learn where players are, their rotations, that sort of thing. Another thing is like reading a mini-map, the UI, the cap flag indicators, the kill feed to an extent, the sort of what weapons they're using. And I would say, going for these big kill streaks, I would say it's probably better to not play too aggressive, play a bit more sort of passive, a bit more slower. Be aware of your surroundings, what's going on, stick with teammates if you can, like clean up kills, rotate with them, especially if you're sort of new to the game. I would advise doing that. Yeah, so that's pretty much all I mentioned in a previous video about going on these big kill streaks in Battlefield 5. So I wanted to bring them up again, just a little recap, because they'd be important, elaborating further, talking about survivability and your rotations, which we will go into now. Right, so survivability. How do you survive gunfights and, these big kill streaks? Number one is, it's just positioning. You always want to have the advantage, and having that advantage, you do that by minimizing the risk of your of exposure to sight lines. You're harder to see, you're harder to hit. Use head glitch points if you can. I did mention in a previous video of positioning 101. How to position yourself and stuff like that. I'd leave a little link if you're sort of interested in that. Positioning is a big key. Now another thing in Battlefield 5, number two is, the attrition system. Battlefield 5 has attrition, so you're going to have lower health generally, is through the health packs, and you're going to have ammo. So how to minimize the attrition in this game? I say, on certain maps, or every map actually, you have health crates and ammo crates, try and get them built if you can, get them all built. And this is for the enemies as well, because I do find that if the crates aren't built, players on both teams, on your team and the enemy team, don't tend to rotate, they don't want to move, they don't want to cap flags, so I just say for the good of everybody in the server, just get them built so everyone can move about. And another thing is the health packs, and I'm very guilty of this, is as soon as you get shot, you just pop your heal straight away. I would advise trying not to, try and look after that heal if you can. A bit of discipline there. I know it's hard sometimes, you get shot, you just pop your heal, and then you get shot again, and then it cancels the heal, and then you've lost out, That's why you don't want to sort of pop your heal straight away. You want to sort of just wait for a sec, pull out of the gunfight, then heal, and then get back into it, or, reposition or something like that. But another thing is, you could use the medic class. The medic class pretty much just eliminates the low health attrition, so it's good to use. You can pretty much just have permanent heals, all game. So, if you find it a bit tricky, just use the medic class, so when you're rotating, have your rotations close to, or you know where all the health crates are, because you want to pick up ammo. You've got to get used to doing it if you want to go on these big kill streaks. You want to survive, you've got to know where the health crates are, the ammo crates are. Just get used to rotating around near them, so when you're just running past, you can pick up ammo. And if I haven't played Battlefield 5 for a while, I just constantly run out of ammo all the time, because I'm not thinking about the attrition system and stuff like that. So you really want to get used to rotating around the health crates and the ammo crates. Another thing on survivability is, your aiming. If you can out aim or be more accurate in gunfights, you will win more gunfights. It's simple as that, you know. I've talked about in previous videos, you can use combined arms to practice your aim and, you know, find your sensitivity, get warmed up before you play. You know, it's quite simple. It's, if you're just a better aimer, you're going to win more gunfights. It's, you know, it's quite simple. So practice it if you can. Another thing, survivability, the movement. So, you know, the movement in Battlefield 5, it's pretty good. It does have some limitations. You can move in gunfights, and I would say get used to it. You know, put light stock on and custom stock, and just, you know, move while in gunfights, and just get used to it, because you will survive a lot more gunfights. You're harder to hit if you're moving. Yeah, use light stock if you can, and just move all the time and get used to it, because it will, you know, you will survive a lot more gunfights. Another thing is about the sliding mechanic. You know, it's pretty good, but it does have its limitations. It does have like a turn rate cap, so you can't abuse the movement to an extent. I think it's a good balance of being, you know, pretty good movement and, you know, not being ridiculously overpowered. It's sort of it's a good sort of in between, you know. So, you know, you can use it to, like, the sliding mechanic, you can use it into cover, you know, or you can use it in gunfights if you need a bit of outplay. Doesn't work all the time because of that turn rate cap, but, you know, it can be used, you know, make yourself harder to hit and tracked. Yeah, so survivability, you know, think positioning, minimizing the attrition system, your aim and your movement, you know, will help a lot in surviving longer in Battlefield 5. So now we're going to go into rotations. You know, it's like, how do you rotate? So the first thing is, you know, you've got to rotate with the mindset of using the weapon to its strengths. So, for example, if you're using ZK, you know, you've got to you can rotate more close quarters, create gunfights where the weapon is at its strength, you know. So you always stick to wars, you know, you try and force gunfights into close quarters. And, you know, the Sturm Gewehr is a bit more mid-range, got a bit more sort of mid-range capabilities than the ZK, so you can sort of rotate on a different way, have a bit more sort of mid-range gunfight, but you can still sort of rotate on that close quarters stuff, because, you know, Sturm's that sort of is that good, you know. Another thing is, you know, using the UI, so the A, B, C, D, E flag, you know, where to rotate to, when and where to rotate to. You know, the aim of the game is you want map control. It's something you want, because if you lose map control in Battlefield 5, it's an experience that gets, like, progressively worse. True suffering, I would say. So, you know, you really want to keep map control if you can. Another thing, and I sort of mentioned this earlier, is foreplanning. You know, thinking about, how am I going to rotate there? What route am I going to take? You know, the type of gunfights that are likely going to happen. How you can predict that, so you're ready for it. You know, you can stick with your teammates or your squad, but don't be afraid to do your own thing. You know, a lot of the time your teammates, your squad won't be there. You know, it's good to force yourself into, like, 1vx situations to learn how to take them better in the long run, you know, if you want to sort of improve as a player. So yeah, you can stick with your teammates, but don't be afraid to do your own thing, you know. Health and ammo crates, mentioned earlier, you know, you sort of want to rotate around them, be aware of where they are, stock up on ammo, get your health pack. It's really important to keep that attrition minimal if you want to sort of survive for longer. And sort of, yeah, think about that. And yeah, you know, use everything mentioned earlier in how to survive: positioning, attrition, aiming, movement, whilst rotating, and the kill streaks will come, you know. Yeah, so, you know, before I wrap up the video, another thing I want to mention is it's more of like a mentality thing, you know. It's don't put pressure on yourself to get kill streaks, you know. It's a thing that should sort of come naturally, you know. Just practice all the things mentioned and it will come naturally over time, you know. Putting pressure on yourself to get high kill streaks, you know, like, you know, you jump in a server and it's like, don't have the mentality of, like, I've got to get a big kill streak in this game, you know. As soon as I spawn in, you know, you'll make mistakes, you know. You ask any good player in Battlefield 5, when you join a server, you know, it's not something you think about, you know. You just play and handle whatever comes your way, putting everything you've learned into practice, everything mentioned in the video pretty much, and it'll come naturally, you know, with practice. You know, before you know, you'll be spawning in, getting 30, you know, 50 and 0 in games. Yeah, so I mean, that's pretty much it, you know. So hopefully I've helped you out in survivability and your rotations in Battlefield 5. Let me know how you're getting along. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. Still trying to grow the channel, so it'd be very much appreciated. I do have members on the channel now. If you'd like to support the channel further, be a member of the channel. It's pretty cool. Not gonna lie, pretty cool. Yeah, more videos on the way. I will see you boys in